I picked up this pump from Harbor Freight. It's a 1 horsepower, they call it a sprinkling pump, and that's actually what I'm going to be using it for. I need to have a little pump that I can stick into the irrigation water. This thing says that it is a basically a 3/4 inch outlet, and I think it's like an inch inlet, and you just stick the inlet down into the water and plumb up where everywhere you want the water to go to, and turn it on. So on the side of the box, it has these features here. The front of this housing here is stainless steel. It can pull from 26 feet down, so it's a shallow. Not it's not like it's going to be pulling from a 100-foot well or anything. And it's just small. You're able to run like 2 sprinklers at once, and it is the good thing, it's brushless, so that's cool. This was only $134 normally at Harbor Freight, and I got a discount off of that. I can't remember how much. I like got 20% discount. So it's 120 volt. It's 10 amps, so I can put that on just about any outlet. And apparently it will transfer, or it will pump 1,075 gallons per hour, whatever that translates to per minute. All right, so I'm going to open this thing up. All right, well, this thing has an inlet right here, so that's just going to drip down and dip down into the water. An outlet here. This is a 1 inch, and it has this size thread, so that's kind of like the same thread as a sprinkler. I mean, as a faucet. And then the top here, so it looks like they're both the same size, but I think it's recommended that you go ahead and you let it come in at 1 inch, so the water's coming in with an 1 inch diameter inlet, and then on the output you have it you go down to the size of 3/4 inch. And I'm saying that because that's what it says on the box there. So, and these little fittings here that they gave, that's what it does. It goes from, I guess that's 1 inch down to 3/4 of an inch. And then what you want to do is get a little funnel, and before your first use, fill that up with water. So this is not something that, of course, you can let sit out all winter long, because if it freezes, it's going to expand and that thing's going to break. So you have to keep it heated or in a warm place, or take it down during the winter, which is a very easy thing for something like this to take down during the winter, because you can just, unscrew those 2 things and that's it, right? So I've got the water coming in right here, and I need to, I'm going to put a board going across right there. This is an old pump. It works fine, but I need one that has pressure on it. This is a high flow but low pressure. So I'm going to be spraying the garden. That's why I got this other pump. So I'm going to put a board going across up there. I'm going to put the pump on that with the dip that goes down in. And for now, I'm just going to set it up on a hose. All right, so I'm just priming it. I've got the hose all set up. Had to go get an extension cord. It's got a 6-foot cord on it, so I wish it was a little bit longer. But there's probably not too many applications where you would use this thing where you've got an outlet just right there. That's probably, if it were an 8-foot extension cord, I could make it work better. I could actually build a little platform for it right here and plug it in, and just have it come in right here That might be long enough. But in any case, I'm just trying to get it set up quickly here. All right, here goes. I got to tighten this up a little bit. I didn't put any Teflon tape or anything on there. So let's see what it's doing here in terms of the sprinkler. Oh yeah, look at that. That seems to be doing pretty good. Whoop. Okay, I've got to adjust it, obviously. All right, well, this thing works really well. I mean, it is brand new, but it is Harbor Freight. That was 130 bucks before the discount. So I like that. That's really nice. Very quiet. I put that I put the intake down inside there, and I put like this 3-inch wide sort of bells out receiver on it, and then around that I put one of those, like a screen, basically a screen that you use for like swamp coolers to go around the intake on a swamp cooler. The manual said that, you know, you could basically run 2 sprinklers on it. So I'm probably going to get this, you know, this is just a temporary setup just to test it out. And I'm going to redo the way that hose is going in there so it doesn't leak. So I'm probably just going to dig a little PVC line for this and have it go, have one line sort of come up in one corner and then another line come up into the other corner, and have it, or maybe, you know, I don't know where I'm going to put them, but in any case, I'm going to have 2 sprinkler heads out here for this garden. Well, that pump is doing pretty good. I'm going to take the sprinkler and move it over here and sprinkle this garden. This garden over here, this is the one that I use. I've got another pump over there that I showed you. That's the Ibarra. That's got the high flow but low pressure, and it just sort of flood irrigates these rows. But there's a couple of areas that aren't really getting it very good over here in the middle, and so I'm going to use, you know, when these plants get bigger, the roots will go down deep, and, you know, the flood irrigation will do better. But when they're young like this, you need to make sure they get all the water they need. So I'm just going to move that sprinkler over here and spray out this garden. All right, well, I'll just let that run for a little bit. Let all those plants get a good drink. I think everything over here got a pretty good dose. So just by coincidence, this water that I have, I've opened the gate to have the stream feed this water coming through here. And with the that pump going and that pump going, just enough to distribute all of the water at pretty much the same rate that the water is coming in. completely unplanned. But now it's time to turn the water off. So I watered this garden, that garden, and the garden over here. Not doing so well, but there's corn in there. You know, I think I've planted it too deep or something.